This is the brand new MG4 XPower. It's a brand new hot hatch from MG, and it may look the same as the original MG4. I mean, you'd forgive me for thinking that it's the same car. That is, until you take a closer look. I mean, normally when you have a hot hatch, manufacturers will put spoilers coming out the front and diffusers out the back, maybe a few shark fins here and there, but this one is a bit of a sleeper, and I quite like that. That is until you start taking a closer look inside and out. Your first clue is the Alcantara interior with new red stitching. Your next clue are the brakes. These bad boys are 345mm ventilated discs. The calipers have been upgraded as well, and then they're painted orange with this X-Power logo imprinted on them. That's your first major outside clue. So why does it have these gigantic brakes? Well, this car can go from 62 miles an hour to 0 in 33.9 meters, which is insane. Even for a hot hatch, that seems a bit excessive, until you learn what's under the bonnet. I was watching an old episode of Top Gear the other day. Mr. Clarkson was driving a £320,000 McLaren Mercedes SLR, and then he said this.
This does 0 to 60 in a pulverizing 3.8 seconds.
Well, guess what? You can now go from 0 to 60 in the same time. Officially, 3.8 seconds to 60. So without further ado, I guess what we should probably do now is demonstrate to you exactly what it looks like to go from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. So let's do that. To engage the launch control, it's fairly simple. You put your left foot on the brake, you put your right foot on the accelerator, it's going to say it's ready, and then you simply go. Honestly, that's absolutely incredible. I'm going to do that again. The Ford Focus ST has 280 PS. That starts from £36,950. The Mercedes AMG A35, that has 325 PS, and that starts from £46,145. Okay, well, what about the Audi RS3? That car isn't being built anymore. That has 400 PS and starts from over £50,000. Interesting. This car, right now, at the time of filming, starts from £36,495 and currently, at the time of filming, has 435 PS. It's an absolute lunatic. I mean, you pull alongside, for example, a 2021 Aston Martin DBX, and this thing will outdrag it. I'm getting too excited. Let's take things back to basics. Essentially, equipment-wise, it's basically an MG4 Trophy Edition, minus the obvious giant brakes and the Alcantara, but let's go through it anyway. You get the full suite of MG safety pilot system with like lane keep assist and radar-guided cruise control and many more things, crash safety systems, etc. You also get projector LED headlights, you get LEDs all the way around, in fact. You get a two-tone roof, you get rear privacy glass, an active grille at the front, heated power folding door mirrors, and a new colour, which you get to see today, which is the racing green. And I must say, is rather gorgeous. Offsets the orange of the calipers very nicely, actually. And it's matte as well. On the inside, you get all sorts of mobile phone support, the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you have a USB Type-C and a normal USB Type-A charger, and a charger in the back as well, so there's going to be no fighting over charges anytime soon, that's for sure. You get a 7-inch digital gauge cluster, which you can see very nicely through this flat bottom, flat top steering wheel, and does feel rather nice in the hands. All of that's the same as the standard MG4 trophy. Heated steering wheel, vehicle to load charging is standard, obviously. You get 3 regen braking modes, but you also get an automatic function as well, but there is additional functions in, obviously you get like one pedal driving, so I take my foot off and it decelerates, we get charge into it quite nicely actually. And I really do actually like the one pedal driving mode. I'm not exactly sure how it does this, but it always seems to know the exact amount of braking force that you need when you're pulling up stuff. I'm wondering if it's using the radar cruise to actually work out. Interesting fact to find out. I would guess it does, because it always seems to brake the exact right amount, no matter what speed I'm doing or what I'm following. As we've shown already, the car has got launch control, in which you can thrill your friends and embarrass your enemies. You get a 6-speaker sound system, and unlike most 6-speaker sound systems, which just aren't quite enough, this has been developed with the help of an audio balancing company. So you get this 3D surround sound effect, and it actually sounds really good. I was listening to a YouTube podcast on the way to work this morning, and honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between this and the 8 speakers in my car. So hats off to MG for that, certainly. The main infotainment screen is a 10.25 color touchscreen display, which is fairly responsive as it is in the standard car. You also get something called a driving dynamic management system, or what I like to call a track system. You can actually create your own circuit through this, which is really, really cool. Or you can have a pre-programmed track. It shows telemetry, you get a G meter. In fact, you can pull over 1.5 G just by accelerating in this thing, which is, again, something to embarrass your enemies and thrill your friends. The car, as well as the standard car, have live services, so integration with your phone and all of that sort of goodness. But with this one, I feel like you would probably just want to get it in it and go. You may, in the evening, set it up on your phone once you get it home, but you're gonna be want to driving this thing. Yeah, definitely. You're gonna want to be doing that for most of the time. In fact, all of the time, just driving it every day. The 360 camera is really cool as well. Same as the standard MG4. You've got various settings you can change on it. You can pick whether just to see the 360 mode. And actually worked surprisingly well, and this doesn't normally work well, in my garage at home. When I parked it into the garage last night, I was like, oh, normally it's the roof is too tall or the sides are too close. But actually, I can see exactly where the front of the nose was as I was pulling it up to the wall at the back of the garage. So really good 360 camera system in this car. As of course we mentioned the black Alcantara seats already with the red stitching, but they're also heated as well. I think I've already mentioned the heated steering wheel, but they're electric on the driver's side, which is... This is a lot of equipment for a car. In fact, it's most of the equipment you'll ever need in a car. Well, certainly what's available right now anyway. Before we go on to the drive though, and while we're in this lovely shade, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like on the video, it helps us out massively. As soon as I get a whiff of the MG Cyberster that is en route to us, I will be covering that car as well. So it's worth subscribing and it's free. You can unsubscribe at any time. Right, let's move on. See, here's the benefit. You have a tractor in front of you. There's a teeny weeny gap and then you just floor it. Bye, tractor. All right, so the bit you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about the drive. Obviously, the power is absolutely corrupting. I mean, you put your foot flat to the floor and you're just gone. You're completely gone straight away. And then you've got the brakes to slow you down, which are obviously fantastic as well. But here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you that the car is a light vehicle. It's got a dual motor. It's got a large battery. It ain't light. However, compared to the standard car, the suspension has been stiffened up by about 25%. The roll bars that are inside the chassis, they've been tweaked as well. Obviously, you have the brakes, you have different tyres, the car is set up. If I was to liken it to anything, it feels like a muscle car. Not a sports car, don't get me wrong, it handles just fine. You can grip in the corners, you can feel the front of the car dip, you can feel the weight being thrown around. But it almost feels old school, like an old school muscle car. It feels different to basically any other electric car I've driven. Not in a bad way either. It feels fantastic. Obviously, it's like stepping on a landmine every single time you put your foot on the accelerator. But the stiffer suspension lets you feel the road more. Then you cut to a long sweeping bend, and you get that beautiful feeling through the steering wheel as you go around it. You get a little bit of roll because you've got a bit of weight in the car, but that's okay because it gives you a bit more of an excuse to learn and feel the car through the bends, through the road. So it's actually quite a rewarding driving experience. The car is telling you what it's expecting to be able to do through these bends. And then you respond and it goes, thank you very much. Brake, bend, brakes are good, and then accelerate through the bend. Oh, I could have a lot of fun with this car on a track. The fun's over. We've caught up with the traffic. And here's the best bit. Once you've done booning it around everywhere, you can go from 10 to 80% charge in just 35 minutes. So you can do a lap of your favorite track, 2, 3, 4, then have a nice 20-minute break, wait for the brakes to cool down, wait for yourself to cool down, get a drink, go to the loo, and then hoon around all over again. Obviously, thanks to the dual motor, the range is reduced, but it does mean you also get four-wheel drive, which helps with that launch. The range is still over that magical 200 miles. In fact, it's 239 miles. And again, even if the conditions are poor and you drive like I've been driving and assume a 20% worse, 20% better scenario, depending on how you drive, that's still going to give you over 190 miles worth of range, even if all of the elements are against you. Overall, I love this car. I love the fact it's quiet when you want it to be. I love the fact that you can basically ruin anything at a set of lights, no matter what. You can overtake anything if you need to. There's space in here. Honestly, it's like the original Golf GTI. It brought sportiness and practicality to the masses. The only thing stopping me from buying one right now is that I've just bought new windows. And I think if my wife saw me come home with a new car, the sofa would be getting a much larger indent than it normally gets. Anybody at MG watching? I have kidney for sale. I only need one. So, yeah. If you want to drive the vehicle, then don't forget to give us a phone call or an email. Or if you want to see the original MG4, you can click on screen right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, I think I'm just going to go and drive the car just a little bit more. I've got it for the rest of the day.